Ah, the good Nintendo 64 with games such as Mario World and Conker's Bad Fur Day, 007. Well, they're good at their time. Although this video is a little different. I actually bought the Nintendo 64, well, just for this one game actually. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Now I'm sure some of you know what this game is. Very good humour. Crazy little squirrel. Good fun when it works. I'll explain why. With the Nintendo 64, it's notorious for having random resets, game freezing, and as we all know, the common fix is to just blow into the cartridge. I'll explain why that's missing as well there, the protection shield. You blow into the cartridge, get all the dust out, all the crap, put it back into your 64, slide the power button and play. Well, mine had a bit of a weird issue, which I managed to investigate further and found the flaw. If you find with games you're playing them and they're suddenly restarting, freezing, lagging, it's worth to check the power supply, but not just by replacing it, and this is only if you're feeling safe, as I advise not to open up power supplies unless you have some idea of electronics. But I actually took the power supply apart and I found that there was a part of the PCB board had cracked, so I managed to glue it back on and basically jump the traces over, which meant that the any portion of the circuitry which had been damaged would work. Considering someone who doesn't like doing things gash, it did take me quite a while. I mean, obviously the best solution could be that if you find it's broken and you're in doubt, just buy a new power supply, one that's reasonable quality. Anyway, so I'll just show you. This is after the repair I've done. You can see I've put Conker's Bad Fur Day into the N64. Let's power it on and see what happens. You can't see my reflection yet. There you go. You can now. You can see that it's working. There's the Dreamcast, the video from just before.
Stupid logo. Yeah, that's better. You can get it.
And usually it would freeze at this point.
Marvelous.
And you can see that it's working. Now, finally, I did mention this before, you may wonder why I've removed the plastic protection here, which exposes the circuitry. I've still got the cover. The reason I took this off was because I had a feeling that the cover had slightly moved, and I was actually causing the contacts not to go all the way in. Now, it could just be me being pretty stupid, worrying about it, but at the end of the day, as it's the only game I've got, it's protected in that cartridge slot, so it's not a massive loss. But I know for a game of such as this, you probably think it's a bit crazy. But hey, it plays, that's what it's there for, so I'm not going to worry. But there are a few other things I could advise that I had seen online about potential issues with restarting. And interestingly enough, the Dreamcast has a similar problem, but it's a bit different. So for a start, if you have a controller, now this I got second hand, it actually came with the unit, really nice controller. You can actually activate different settings, so it's off for just normal playing, turbo and auto, which is actually quite funny on Conker's Bad Fur Day, especially on Count Bacula, which is, you can make him crap everywhere without doing anything, but that's another story. Now apparently there's a certain combination you can do on the controller which can force reset the N64. A little skeptical because I haven't been able to do this successfully. Again, it might be because it's a different controller. But the first thing to do is, if you're feeling comfortable, take it apart, clean it, or just clean the buttons. If there's any dirt that could be causing the pads at the bottom of the controller to conduct, that could possibly cause it to trigger a reset. I did actually take this controller apart. I might even have a picture on my phone actually of it apart from a while ago, which I could put on the video. So that's the first thing to check. Make sure the controller's clean. Also disconnect the controller and see if it still resets. That will obviously isolate if it's the controller. If it continues to reset, I would assume that you've already tried cleaning the cartridge. You can use alcoholic, IPA, I never can say it's right, isopropyl alcohol, and just clean those contacts. You can see they don't look too bad, but that middle one there, you can just see it needs a slight clean, so that will need some attention. And that also leads onto the console itself. Now, it's always worth to check the expansion. So this is the, I believe it's the memory pack. Cleaned out those contacts as well using a cotton strip. Gosh, you see I've lost for words now. Cotton bud even, and just clean it out. Also worth checking the internals here. You've got the pins inside there. And once you've cleaned the game pack, you've cleaned the cartridge slot, you clean the ROM, I call them ROMs, that's what they basically are, and the controller. If it's still doing it and you haven't replaced the power supply or even at least try to take it apart, it's worth doing. And just for a heads up, I'll just show you the tools you need to actually take apart the N64, just if you're wondering and why you're tuned in on my channel. So I got these tools for about £3 off the internet. They didn't need to be anything special, it was only for a one-time use. So here we have one which is for taking apart the cartridges. So in this case I can flip it over, put this on there, and I can unscrew it. And then you've got this one here, which is the slightly larger one for the bottom of the console to take apart. Now there is a way that you can use a pencil, a pen, and you can basically hit it with a lighter and make a mould of one of these from the original screws. However, don't advise this because in most cases it just doesn't work. The pen cracks, or you just cause damage to the other bits of plastic on the console. But it depends, you know, whether you want to keep it in nice condition. But yeah, I know it's a bit of a random video, but you never know, someone out there might find that useful. So yeah, comment, rate, subscribe, do whatever you have to do, and thanks for watching.